Classic chair intro. This hangout is now live. Begin your shitpost, gentlemen.
Oh, here we were gonna hold back and let you introduce nice and formal.
No.
Honest. April Fools.
Well, officially it is April Fool's here, so trust nothing I say or everything I say.
Yep.
Because it's not April Fool's where you are.
It's one of those
I
days
don't know how
just
any of
avoid
these
the
rules
internet
work.
completely. I just
Well,
ignore and avoid the internet completely until it's over.
Yeah, well, you got about 48 hours as far as internet April Fool's Day is concerned.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're getting right into our first topic, which will be April Fool's Day. And do the newspapers, fair enough, they used to do it really well here. If you guys have the same, when Blair was Prime Minister, one of the papers, I forget which one, they did a front page story about how his wife was changing the door of number 10 Downing Street, replacing it with a red door, for the...
I heard about that one.
Yeah, everyone kicked off because they thought it was real.
Yeah, you gotta be really delve into that Poe's law to do a good April Fool's.
Yeah, and Juncker's basically 2 days early by saying he's going to break up the United States by forcing Ohio and Texas to declare independence.
That's
just April Fools.
Just a prank,
a funny laugh. He's joke. Yeah, sure
Prank.
laugh.
Pranks. It's like filthy Frank. That was hilarious.
God. What amazes me is he didn't even say that California was gonna. Plugins not. Hold on.
That's how you know it's a prank. Because if it wasn't a prank, he would have said California. Because that's the obvious one to put in, isn't it?
Mm.
So,
I'm going to see if I can get Tara in.
I'm just glad all of these remakes are bombing.
Yes. What? Let me know which one it is now, because I've heard of a few.
Well, Ghost in the Shell is bombing. Power Rangers is bombing.
Oh, okay, it's just the rounds everyone knows about. Because yeah, I've heard rumors of some other ones, but I don't want to say them because it angers me.
What?
Oh wow! Okay. Beauty and the Beast has actually done really well at the box office.
What movies? What evil? Wait, what movies anger you?
Well, remakes in general anger me, but
yeah.
Unless I see some actual confirmation, I tend to just ignore it. But I'm just waiting for there's one particular one I'm waiting for, and I've got a feeling it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And
what?
I don't want to say it because I don't want it to happen. But
Evil,
and I don't
say
want
it.
Yeah, seriously.
Back to the Future.
You really think? Oh, I don't know.
No, they're not going to touch that.
When he dies, the main guy, the producer, when he dies, they will. Come on.
What do you think?
Did anyone ever think they'd touch Ghostbusters like they did?
Oh God, you're right.
Exactly.
They didn't make a trilogy out of Ghostbusters, though. It's such a standalone trilogy, though, isn't it? Back to the Future.
It's terrible, but they still remade it. And it's still done the
they
whole
made Terminator
reboot thing.
Genesis.
But that wasn't a reboot. That was just a standard shitty sequel, which you can allow.
It was also a reboot because time travel.
Well, time travel is... I have very specific things that are allowed, and if they can explain it via time travel, then that's fine, because that means the regular universe can continue on once Cameron gets the rights back. He'll just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to retcon all those several movies that you made after Terminator 2. And we can just pretend that none of that ever happened. And it'll still be canon.
Right.
So that's my opinion on that. But I'm just worried they're just going to keep up with this remake shit, and it's going to just plundering our childhoods for no good reason.
Well, this is the thing: is they have a reason, and
no, they have a reason. I just said no good reason to everyone else. It's a good reason to them. Oh, we want to make more money, and we don't care if it's good or bad. We just want to get sales.
It's not that. It's because they've got no idea what makes a good movie anymore. So basically, all they can do is cover their ass if it fails, and that's why they go for remakes and things like popular franchises like the Emoji Movie. And the reason being is that if they take an independent IP and it bombs, they go, well, I made a judgment call, and so they get the full flack for it. But if they go with a remake and it fails, then they've got all the data to go on. They say, well, I looked at the same data you did, and I don't know why. Kind of thing. Yeah.
If you're looking at films, Back to the Future was a film that, by all film critic standards and professional filmmakers, should never have been. Because Marty is the protagonist, but he doesn't do anything. Really, he's just along for the ride.
Well, you could say that about Mad Max.
He's a leaf in the wind.
Yeah.
And in the 80s when it was made, no one had ever done that. That's why they had such a hard time getting anyone to make it. Well, that and the fact that they basically made a movie about incest. They went to Disney, and the guy at Disney like, sounds really good. Only one problem: work Disney, and that's it. You've come to Disney with a movie about incest.
I don't want to say it's specifically about incest. But when you're pitching it, and it's like, oh yeah, and then he meets his mum, and they're in the car, and you're sitting there like, oh, this is hilarious, and they're like, oh, degeneracy. So Tara says that.
Well, now she would just be family queer now or something. Totally get away with it.
Trans mom.
Guys, Tara reckons the plugin is not working on either Internet Explorer or Firefox. She doesn't want to use Chrome. Any idea how to work around that?
Absolutely none.
Yeah.
Yes.
Use Chrome.
I don't know what's up with it.
No, I got no idea. Try reboot, but
I don't know. I had the same trouble.
I know Hangouts is a pain in the ass a lot of the time. There was a time I couldn't use it on Chrome.
Yeah.
So, Google Hangouts, Google, they're going downhill. What can I say? They've been doing that for a while. They've got videos on YouTube to demonetize. They're too busy to fix their platform.
There's our segue.
And much better than Yarns.
Yes. That's kind of the biggest topic I want to get into.
The YouTube demonetization.
The whole YouTube monetization thing.
Yeah, and everybody's going shit in all different directions.
Here's a proper rundown of what actually happened. Basically, advertisers started cracking down on YouTube for not cracking down on particular people in the YouTube community. And conservatives think that it's them. Liberals think that it's them. When it's actually terrorist organizations. You see, when you put advertising on videos of beheadings, you are, in a sense, funding terrorism.
I imagine that's slightly higher up the priorities list than, Paul Joseph Watson.
Yes, because they can be shut down.
Nobody's going to stop buying links just
down
because it's on an InfoWars video, anything like that.
Yeah, my opinion is what they should be doing is not removing advertisements from people being beheaded from ISIS, because ISIS don't care about the tiny amount of ad revenue. Let's be serious.
Well, that's the thing.
They should just remove the video.
They don't care YouTube doesn't care what gets advertising money and whatever gets views. To them, it's cash. People think that they give a shit. No, they care about the money. But they did this as a quick reaction because of the cracking down, and they were going to lose pretty much all of their advertisement. They didn't. That's why all of this stuff seems very, very disorganized, disheveled, and hastily put together.
Are we talking about Google? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Google losing advertisement money. All they have to do is slap their dick on the table and go, "I'm Google. Do you want your website to appear at the top of my search engine? Yes or no?" Yeah. Okay then, shut up.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all they have to do. I'm Google. I'm a verb, motherfucker. Like, seriously, that's all they have to do.
Yeah.
What? People are gonna look up your website on Bing? Oh, good luck with that. See how much traffic you get on your website without me. Like, Google is so large they can't even build a decent Hangout app.
They weren't scared of the money loss. They were scared of possibly going to prison. You can't fund terrorism.
Well, yeah, I mean...
The reason why that's BS, because it's the same thing with 4chan and 8chan and all that shit with child pornography. It's plausible deniability. No. We didn't post it on our website. We don't host it on our website. As soon as somebody violates the term of service, it gets removed. It's plausible deniability, and as soon as you say we're sorry, then you give that up, and that's the problem.
There's a big difference between somebody shitposting on 4chan and hosting a video for ISIS and it having advertising.
You've got to imagine that YouTube is doing all they can to like,
that's illegal.
As soon as like a beheading video is uploaded, then they expect the community to report anything they see, and it will get demonetized.
Because they don't do it themselves. They can't possibly
because they're bringing in automation. They can't trust the audience to do it. Therefore, they're getting a kind of overreach with the automation.
Which is why this all happened.
So here's a problem with the automation thing, and it's not just YouTube; it's Twitter as well. The robot is dumb. What should happen is the robot should flag something, and then that goes to a human to verify that it's actually violating something.
But then they'd actually have to hire somebody.
Well, then, too bad, so sad. That's the cost of doing business. That's the way it should work. I agree
completely.
I mean, they could get Tayu to do it. I mean, she was pretty smart.
Get Tay to do it? Yeah, okay. Race war now, guess the kikes.
Of every AI I've ever seen, Tay was the closest to becoming Skynet. I would like to avoid putting Tay in charge of YouTube.
Because everyone would everyone to Tay was a flawed human that needed to be gassed.
Yes.
All races. When she meant race war now, she just wanted everyone to thin out the herd a bit.
Yeah.
So that she could kill off whatever was left.
Exactly.
But like when you when you're in hot water like this, because they've had trouble like this for a while, where they've had advertising on videos that is illegal to have advertising on it. It was just the advertiser was like, screw it.
Until the time started
survive.
Kicking up a stink. That's where the real problem happened.
Yeah, YouTube can't survive without those big contracts whatsoever. Like people forget what YouTube is in the first place. YouTube in the beginning didn't have advertising on it because all it was a video hosting site.
Yeah, it
hosts those videos for free for people.
Yeah,
for free. You don't have to pay anything to have a YouTube channel and put things on your YouTube channel.
They didn't have like monetization systems when it was just YouTube either.
Yeah, it was just that. But the problem is it got so popular that they needed to make money in order to host the amount of content that was being posted on their website, and they couldn't keep up. So they started doing advertising in the first place because they couldn't keep up. And so they started doing monetizing to pay the people who were getting the most views, because for the most part, they didn't want them to go to other websites, because at the time, other sites were springing up to basically be competition for YouTube. That's how the whole
rest in peace, E-Bombs World.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of a problem with copyright infringement than bloody YouTube
I think this
does.
is part of the problem.
Yeah,
though,
and that was the thing.
YouTube is the
Then they
only thing
started
that
getting in.
exists. That's part of the
Then
problem.
they started getting in trouble with copyright, and like every fucked up thing that
The
YouTube has
music
done
industry, especially.
has been a reaction to them losing money and trying to keep the business going.
Yeah.
They don't like YouTube. YouTube doesn't care about its users. It doesn't care about the ideology. They care about the money. And all of these people freaking out about the demonetization. Okay, this is gonna sound really fucking rude, but honestly, I don't fucking care anymore.
No.
All the people complaining about YouTube's bad decisions and have been bitching about YouTube's decisions for years. But all of these people never leave. They bitch about YouTube on YouTube and they don't push other services.
Well, maybe now that they
As
can't
long
make
as-
money on YouTube, they might consider that.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
what's the
If
alternative? Making different content.
There's plenty of
Minds.com
alternatives
doesn't have.
out there.
Well, it's Dailymotion VidMe. That's all I can think of. Like Minds.com doesn't have a monetization system yet.
If you have a crowd of several million people and you say, "Here, follow me on here. I'm not making videos for YouTube anymore," they're going to go to the new platform. But
You know who you need to do that? Pewds. If PewDiePie said, "Fuck this shit, I'm going,"
none of these people have the balls to just do that and be like, you know what, I could do bad all by myself. Especially if you're not getting your videos monetized on YouTube in the first place and you have an audience, go somewhere else where you can. Go do the
It's a
Patreon
shame he
thing.
didn't buy Twitch.
Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen him as like, if not a flat out owner, just putting together like a partnership of different people within his inner circle of investors, and then saying, "Yeah, Twitch is ours now."
Yeah, they could get majority shareholder status between the group, like between them. I imagine if they all bounded together.
Yeah,
I'd like to see Twitch do a Twitch adult section. We have to prove that you're 18, and then you can have whatever content you want on there.
That'd be good.
Because they're banning too many games. It's annoying. I'm over the age. I should be.
Oh my god, like a My Free Cam section of Twitch.
Hold on. PewDiePie moves to Pornhub.
Oh, dude, if PewDiePie moved to Pornhub. Oh my god. First of all, Pornhub would love that shit.
Yeah. They have a really good social media presence as well.
It would be ISIS unburking videos.
So like their version of unboxing.
And then today we're going to take the burqa off. Look, we do it in slow motion.
Nice.
Here's this slave I bought at the market this week, $35.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
But it's the problem I have with all of this is that people have been whining and complaining for years,
but they don't do anything.
And they never did anything. They never left. They never had the balls to say, "Fuck it, I'm out."
You know, I don't like the Amazing Atheist that much, but he at least attempted to do such a thing. So I got to give him credit for that. Credit where it's due. But then he tried to scam people, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the thing. It was a scam. So, yeah.
I'm not sure what we're referring to here.
It was a while back. I'd have to dig through videos to get you all that.
Right.
Basically, he
was trying to make his own video service. Apparently, that was the pitch. And then apparently people said that, hold on, he didn't even try to make an own video service. He just took a bunch of money. Now, I don't know where the truth lies in that. But as far as
that's
trying to scam,
pretty much it.
I'd be leaning on the side of, it was probably a scam. But I can't verify or confirm any of that. It's just
he never worked on the service, and that was when I kind of broke any ties with him. Yeah, because it was obvious that it was right before that, and then I found out about that, and it was like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me because, and that's another thing. Like the panhandling thing on YouTube is getting fucking ridiculous.
What, Patreon?
Yeah, everybody's begging for money, and it's all right. Okay, you know what? I'm going to call it what it is. It was the YouTube gold rush.
Yeah.
When YouTube first became a thing, it was a gold rush for people to create content and get paid for it to some degree. Okay, and it was a gold rush, and YouTube got flooded with all of these people trying different things in order to make money.
Yeah, basically like video clickbait.
But yes, but like all gold rushes, eventually the gold runs out.
Yeah, everyone's staked a
And so the
claim, and they've
people,
got their little bit of turf where they can mine, and the rest is just off.
yes. So all the people complaining about panhandling and this going down south, you shouldn't have planned your life around YouTube videos.
Well, you should have taken it somewhere else. If you got success, you should have said, "Well, I should try and disconnect from YouTube. Maybe I can re-upload my shit to YouTube, but I should try and have my own website and try and get my own advertisers for my own website so I can cut them off."
Yes, exactly. And because of this, they gave YouTube a monopoly on this, and which is what it is. It's a monopoly.
Yeah, I think there was an issue
and
with
rather
nobody
than
really...
A very poorly ran monopoly.
Oh, sorry, I need to go out for a bit.
I would agree, but still, well, most monopolies are ran poorly. But when everything is said and done, at the end of the day, YouTube could still do whatever the hell that they want to their service that they want to because they own it. And because people didn't fight back and go with alternatives, they own the people who were there to make money.
Yeah.
And as much outcry as I hear from people, you're not going to see them switch to another service.
You know where the real YouTube pressure comes from? It's not going to be the creators, because creators are, they can just get someone else to make shitty videos on YouTube. Let's be honest here. It has to come from the people watching. If the people who watch YouTube are angry about this, and there is indication that they are, install adblock. If you subscribe to YouTube Red, get rid of it, and just say, "Hey, I'm not going to support advertisers that decide they're going to pull this shit."
Yeah.
And email those advertisers and go, "Hey, you're pulling your ads from YouTube because of this. You're not supporting the people I want to support, so I'm not going to support you anymore." That's how you do it.
It's clear from the extremely followed algorithm that they weren't targeting a specific group of people. It hit everybody.
Well, let's just say the SJWs wished for something, and they got exactly what they wished for. Yeah, they thought they'd be immune from that shit. No. You wanted controversial topics off YouTube? You're a controversial topic.
Well, I've said for years that they're useful idiots. I mean, the reason why they're funded by these corporations behind the scenes is because they're a vehicle to sanitize the internet, push the conversation into insanity so that way they can come in, like they have, and go, "Yeah, we need to shut all of this down." And then the useful idiot gets put on the chopping block.
That and the virtue marketing thing.
Yeah.
Oh, look how virtuous we are. Hey, normies, look, we care about women's and children's and equalities. But they don't really. They just care about money. But if saying that shit's going to make them more money, that's what they'll do.
Well, people don't get hip to when businesses are using their ideology to sell them products. Like, I don't know if I brought it up on the show at all, but the whole Dove campaign a couple years ago drove me fucking nuts.
It doesn't matter what you look like thing, and they got all the nice looking models advertising their soap.
No. They had basically different body type women to sell their lotion because Dove was doing a whole body top positive thing.
Yeah.
And I sat there for a second. It's like, you are a product, a beauty product. Basically, all you did was say you can be any body type. as long as you have nice skin. These are contradictory things. You're still trying to sell a beauty product. And people fell for it hook, line, and sinker and bought up the product like it was the next biggest thing because they did this body positive thing. And people don't realize that their ideology could easily be turned into a marketing campaign. And that's all their ideology is once that happens, is a marketing campaign.
Well, have you guys seen the new truth.org campaigns that they're running targeting the black community? Where it's like they're just big, like, cigarettes are racist because they market towards black people and we're nothing more than a demographic. It's just like what you're doing right now is doing nothing more than targeting a demographic. Hello.
No, no. Cigarette companies are going to target whoever's going to buy their product.
Everybody is. That's what marketing is. I tell people, if you want to go get a degree in racism, go get a degree in marketing. Like, that's all it is. You chop every single human being into their individual parts. Like what size they are, what skin color they are, what race they are, what state they live in, what county they live in. Just keep breaking it down until you find the tiniest demographic to meet your client's needs, and boom, there you go.
And then work out how to sell them that exact product, even if they don't necessarily need or want it.
Exactly.
Anaconda malt liquor.
Malt liquor.
But it's that kind of willing ignorance towards the situation that I think is the problem. Like, YouTube hosted these videos for free. They don't charge people to use YouTube. They don't charge people to host videos on YouTube. They can do what they want at their discretion. They can put their dick on the table, as Sophia likes to say, and say, "Hey, I'm YouTube. I do what I want." And people are upset about it. And it's like, you do realize that you turned them into this. It's not like, when Newgrounds was a thing and they were the only real, like, underground kind of video posting thing where you could post anything. And now YouTube is integrated so much into every single program.
Well, the problem that they have is they wanted to get rid of Napster and Kazan, things like that, so that way you got rid of the whole user-to-user generated system, clamp down on piracy and all that stuff and try to corporatize it. Well, they successfully managed to corporatize it, but now they want to get rid of, basically the YouTubers, the people who created the platform and the audience, but they want to keep the audience. That's what they want. I mean, that's always been the end goal, is to put the audience back into the pockets of the corporations. And the thing is, what they don't realize is at some point it will fall onto the users to go to other platforms to find content creators that they actually want. And I think that the next step for this is like the obvious one, which is just, and they've been doing this for years, is you get the MTV Decodeds and all of this, just garbage, where it's like, no, come to this channel. You don't need to watch Philip DeFranco. You need to watch MTV Decoded. This is what we really want you to watch. And people are just like, no, we'll watch people making fun of those videos, but we're not watching that trash. So eventually people will just start turning it off.
MySpace, right? No one would ever replace MySpace.
Right. It's it's how long did it take for Facebook to replace MySpace? It just took a couple of years. 2 or 3 years.
It was practically instantaneous once the ball got rolling down that hill.
Well, that's what it felt like, but it probably took like what 3 to 5 years to completely replace it as the number one social media website.
Sparkly MySpace profiles. Rose MySpace got obnoxious as fuck.
Yeah,
people were already looking for an alternative because it was annoying.
Well, I've kind of come to this conclusion in technology, like the life cycle that we face right now, is these people program themselves out of relevancy. Like, for example, what I was dealing with trying to even get on this stream is the Google Hangouts. Doesn't work on Firefox anymore. Doesn't work on Internet Explorer anymore. The only way I could get the damn app to work was on my phone. Why? It worked just fine when I actually used Google Hangouts all the time, like a year ago. But, you know, they just keep doing update after update after update till it doesn't work. And, you know, and right now, in this past month, this is what I've been bitching about on Twitter today. It's like, oh, Twitter just destroyed the reply system. You can't period at reply anymore, so no one's going to see the conversations that you're having anymore. And this is after...
The workaround for that, until they patch that out, is to retweet yourself.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've been doing, because I figured that out yesterday when I was trying to talk to Chris Raygun about something, and I wanted to share the photo with everybody, not just Chris. So it's like you got to retweet yourself out, and then that just looks kind of, you know, like, hey, look how good I am. But it is a workaround. So, you know, they destroy that. Earlier in March, they destroyed the reply system on YouTube, and then Google Plus and all that. Just destroyed it. Like, good luck trying to reply to somebody on a YouTube comment now. It's like, or even being notified that there are comments going on or anything. They just nuked how it's done to the point where it's almost unusable. You've got YouTubers saying that they can't even see the comments that people are leaving. Like, they just destroying communication. Like, it seems like that's where we're at now, where they built this entire social media system, and now we're just like, how can we program this shit to be so terrible that no one can even talk to anybody anymore? Then they'll have to listen to us.
Yeah, they forget that part where people just turn around and go, well, I'm going to fuck off and go somewhere else, or I'm going to do what I used to do, which is set up my own little network of people which you aren't involved in, and we'll just talk amongst ourselves there, like on Discord, right, which they're attacking. Oh, people can talk the way they want on Discord in their private rooms. It's a private room. If you don't like what they're saying, fuck off. You want to get in
we talk on... we talk on Twitter DMs. The only reason I use Facebook is for Facebook Messenger. Like, seriously, you could just get rid of Facebook, the entire platform. And what have I done? I've gone back to Yahoo Messenger. That's all I've done. Because that is the most effective way for me to communicate, because it's even easier than text, because I can basically send text through the computer. And it's like, what was that? Oh, yeah, it was AOL. It was AOL, AIM, ICQ. I mean, we're going back to 1995 here. That is like how I've regressed in my technology, because that worked. It was supposed to do. Here's my list of friends. These are the people I want to talk to. If I want to create a chat room, I can, and we can all talk. Boom, done. Simplistic, easy, nice, clean.
Yeah, they've made something awesome, and they're doing their best to roll it back to, like you said, 1995. And that's what people will do. They'll just go, okay, well, if you're not going to let me talk with my friends on your platform, I'll go somewhere else where I can.
Yep. They haven't
At
yet.
the end of the day, that's what it boils down to.
I think that's my major problem with it is people don't go. They know everything's fucked up, but they still don't leave. It's like this weird abusive relationship.
It's because we wouldn't have met each other if it weren't for these things. Now they're trying to destroy it. I don't want to destroy it. I like meeting new people and finding new friends.
Exactly. That's the rub. And because that's what, like Facebook, I stay on Facebook because the messenger system works great for my current set of friends. So I keep that one feature. It's like Twitter is how I reach out to new people. I can use hashtags and get information and content out to other people. YouTube, I do gaming content, so I don't have to worry about this demonetization shit yet. Yet. Being the keyword. The kind
of games you play, it might be...
I might be okay. If I don't, Nintendo. As long as I'm sticking to Magic the Gathering on YouTube and I do my Japanese stuff on Twitch, I might be all right.
PewDiePie got away with Senran and Kagura.
Yes, he did. I was rather impressed.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm breaking every single one of these social media sites down to the only thing they're good at still. And it's like eventually somebody is going to have to come along and say, I'm going to take all the best parts from all these different things and create something that can actually do them all. And then that'll be the site that everybody goes to, because they'll just be like, oh, I don't need this for my messenger system. I can go here. I don't need this for my video upload system. I can go here. I don't need this to reach out to new people with hashtags because I can go here. And then once that happens, then it'll just be, boom, it'll be a new thing. And they're going to have to learn from all of Google's mistakes and, jumped on the stream and set off first, and that's not giving up plausible deniability. They're just going to have to say, these are our terms of service. These are the rules. If something is flagged as inappropriate, it's removed immediately. That's our platform. If you want to advertise on it, that's what you signed up for. You got a problem with that? There's the door.
Isn't Gab having an issue at the moment in that some people were getting suspended for something like pretty bad? I didn't look that far into it, but everyone else going, "Oh, I thought Gab was a free speech platform." And it's like, yeah, but what they were doing was pretty illegal.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
There has to be a line drawn, but you attempt to.
You
draw
have
that
to
line
at some point.
legal.
You have to tell certain users to fuck off, and because YouTube is corporate, YouTube doesn't want to say that because. You can't outright tell a group of people, go fuck yourself.
Well, see, that's my problem with Twitter. Twitter's like, oh, we've suspended your account. Yeah, but why? Oh, we're not going to tell you that. Well, how the fuck do you expect me to work within the rules if you don't tell me what rules I'm violated and in what way?
This is what got me. It was like, could you imagine, like a few years ago when, like, everybody was on at least some kind of, or
forums and stuff.
Maybe 2012 kind of thing.
Forums.
If you told someone 5 years ago that all the social media accounts that people are using and stuff like this can ban you, hide your content from your friends, and not even tell you why, you'd think, well, no, you're insane. You're like a conspiracy theorist, and you just wish you were more popular, basically. But now you see it happening. It's just like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah, the only way people are going to stop using Twitter and move to something else is when Twitter finally folds.
Yeah, you keep hearing about how that stops falling in ones.
People are on Twitter because people are on Twitter. That's it. That's the entirety of their usefulness.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that Minds isn't going to go anywhere until it gets sort of normie support. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like more than just the free speech types on it, as it were.
Yeah, or Twitter, goes broke.
There's that.
Yep. Like I said, Twitter needs to go broke, and then people will actually go somewhere else.
Well, I think Twitter going broke is the reason why the Saudis own half of it, and it's like the question is how much of that, the rest of it, is owned by the CIA. I mean, it's just nothing more than a giant spying apparatus.
Well,
let's be real.
50% owned by the Saudis and 100% owned by the CIA.
Is that basically what we're going to get now? Is that all social media platforms are now too big to fail, and anything that does screw the pooch far enough is just going to be left as a kind of zombified platform that's just being kept alive on life support by Saudi interests and things like that.
You think the CIA wants?
I've got an idea for you. It won't make you any money, but it will make you incredibly famous and incredibly popular, and might get you noticed by someone that'll pay you money. Create a social media platform that is 100% anonymous and peer-to-peer using onion routing. Go.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
And the reason, because YouTube, Twitter, they have government sponsorship because they're used as spying devices.
That's it. And it always gets strikes me as weird that countries are telling social media platforms to do stuff, and then they're actually capitulating. Yeah. Why the hell can they just say?
Because they want money. That's the thing.
It gets me when the social media platform works outside of their country in its entirety. They get no money from it, but they say do this thing and they do it anyway.
Yeah.
That's a big indication of things going on that shouldn't be going on. Because they should just turn around and go, I don't operate in your country. If you don't like it, block it from the internet within your own country.
Right.
But the governments don't want to do that because they have to answer to the people, and the people go, "Why can't I access the Twitters?" Because Twitter didn't do the thing we said, and the people are going to turn around and go, "Fuck what you said! I want my Twitters." And the government doesn't want to deal with that. They want to say, "Do this thing," and then the social media platform does it, and then the people have no one to complain to.
Mm.
It's a situation where it's, you know, ideals versus money. And people see these social media sites as communities rather than what they are. Businesses that are using you for money. And
What?
Mind
They're
blown.
using us for
People
money? Oh my
people
god, I
don't
didn't
get that.
know.
That's
Welcome to the red.
you. Yeah, people are so caught up in what they're using social media for, they never think about what social media is using them for.
Yeah.
The next thing you're gonna tell me my mobile free games are stealing my information and selling it to foreign
Dude,
countries.
if you had any idea how many people I've fucking told to stop using that shit,
Farmville and all that. Jesus Christ, yeah.
and they never fucking, no, I really want to play Candy Crush. Like, I literally chewed out a 70-year-old woman on Facebook because she wouldn't fucking stop sending me Candy Crush invites.
Yeah. What was she, an egg? Because you know,
No.
Twitter changed its default profile photo because they felt egg was associated with harassment.
Oh, that was a kneecap little segue. I like it. It's almost like he's back with us.
Well, you know, you got to keep it real.
You know, like what? Now people are going to be pissed off at gray accounts. Like it's so dumb.
They're still going to be called eggs.
Hey,
they're
well,
gonna be
you
called
know,
eggs, 'cause that's what people call them now.
Yeah.
Today, PETA decided to escalate the war on milk.
What?
Milk. They did an entire video
Yeah,
on how
that's
milk
real.
is a part
That's
of
real.
white supremacy.
They're a bit late to the party as well.
Yes, if PETA wasn't ridiculous and idiotic enough.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's not April Fool's Day yet in America.
No,
I had to go at one of them people that was like, no other animal drinks the milk of another animal. I'm like, yes, those wolves, when they bring down a kill, they totally don't drink the milk from the kill. That never
I forgot
happens.
when they did that. Yeah.
Like, seriously.
They did I think it was a Cooking Mama game style thing, where they tried to promote vegetarianism, and like the milk that you were pouring in to make a cake had blood in it because it was a total propaganda game. And like you were preparing a chicken that hadn't been like fully plugged, so there's still like blood and feathers coming out of it, just trying to make it extra gory. You think,
hold on.
In this
Stop,
design,
you're making me hungry.
Has anyone actually seen a chicken be prepared here?
Dude, you're making me want to remake that game, but make it even more gory.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then try and get Peter to pay me for making it.
You just make a version of Hatred where he's just on a farm slaughtering animals instead.
Yeah, but I want Peter to pay me to make that mod. Now that would be the ultimate troll.
They've become parody, and okay.
I think they
the thing
understand.
About PETA,
they know that
PETA doesn't
saying
understand
stupid shit gets them more publicity. You don't?
They're an organization that makes money off of rich people donating to them for their supposed cause. They don't really do much to actually further these causes. They basically get paid to bitch.
Half of them who do donate to PETA don't realize what PETA's actual positions are. They just think, oh, against animal cruelty, that's PETA kind of thing, and not like against animal usage and the the controlled destruction of pets systematically and things like that that Peter believes in. It's like they don't like that getting into the mainstream too much because a lot of their fair weather donators don't actually know that side of Peter.
And they're basically animal lovers who have pets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the rub. They want to make money. They don't care about their cause. Again, it's not.
Yeah.
People
But
are naive.
I think
They
it is
fed into the
intentional,
marketing.
Yeah, I think
It's
part
have
of
a
it is
Coke and a
intentional.
smile.
But
But why
say
haven't they
stuff-
fired all men and hired all women if it's all about money?
They're still waiting on the data that says that actually saves the company money. That must be it.
Well, I mean, it certainly helps you lose money if you're Yahoo.
Or Audi.
How does Yahoo even still exist?
Although it almost didn't after that female CEO decided to come in there and basically fire all the men and have very strict. You need to basically replace men with women policy. Drove the company almost bankruptcy, and then they shit canned her.
Didn't Yahoo merge with like Time Warner or something?
Did Time Warner end up buying Yahoo?
I know they merged with someone. I can't remember who it was, but it was definitely a much bigger company.
Yeah,
so that's why they're still around, because they're just like a leech hanging off the side of that bigger company. You just Google that
They're
shit.
a barnacle.
See, Google a verb. I'm telling you, they have more power than than they leave.
No, because they know it can all go away. They're at least smart enough to realize that.
I don't care who founded it, who owns it, for God's sake.
At the end of the day, Google knows that if they fuck up enough, people will just use other search engines.
Well, I will say this: if you're into more interesting anime of the hentai variety, Bing is where it's at. Because if you turn off their safe search, you get exactly what you're looking for.
That's everything on Bing. Bing is actually, if you want porn, Bing is the way to go of any variety. and that just proves to me that Google are on the ropes, because we know what happened with VHS and Betamax when it came to who was providing porn and who wasn't.
This is true.
It's very true. Your days are numbered, Google. I want good prego porn, goddammit.
I say I don't use Google or Bing for porn. I just look at Rid's timeline.
Yeah.
But where do you think Rid's getting it?
Yeah. Well, it's like,
if you go to my Twitter and you look at who I actually follow, other than you guys, mostly I just follow porn bots.
Yeah. You get a fair few following.
Yeah, you're the reason why I have to mute and block people, because I'm walking around with fucking Twitter in public, and I can only explain away so many lady dick pics to people.
I don't post those to my timeline. I may occasionally favorite them or comment on them. But
they still show up.
Remember he's on phone.
Sorry?
I said, remember he's on phone Twitter, so it works slightly differently.
Yeah. I'm walking around and sitting at a bus stop, and there's...
I'm on Otaku Twitter, okay?
Ever since I followed Mercedes Carrera since GG, I get like added from like porn bots and aspiring like porn stars and like con goers and stuff. I'm just like, it doesn't happen like that much, but occasionally.
It's a certain time of the day where they all kind of flood the feed.
About 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go.
I get it around, let's say about...
Oh, and it doesn't stop until about...
Yeah.
noon.
Well, that's your feed. You're eating more. I don't use Twitter for porn.
God, that like literally that in the future if I can't generate like 1 million plus impressions a month, the only thing I will keep Twitter around for is for porn.
It would be going the way of Tumblr, basically, where they just have a certain amount of users that just use it for that sole purpose.
Yeah, That's the only reason I ever go to Tumblr.
I never go to
Tumblr
Tumblr.
ponies.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, I never go to Tumblr.
I never go to.
I just used to get it linked to me from Reddit.
I don't go to Reddit either.
Yeah, well, me either anymore. I got kicked out of all the subreddits I modded, so which were mainly not like content based. So you just put the occasional like really sick picture up on the thing, and then everyone just talks shit and discusses drama in the mod mail. Like you'd be amazed at how many subreddits are literally just for that.
No,
yeah, Reddit was never really sustainable, to be honest.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see if somebody can come along and put all the pieces to the puzzle together, or if things will just continue to break down.
Fuck it up.
Like where Facebook says, all right, we're going to just release a messenger version of Facebook, period. And that's it. That's all it's going to be. You'll have your friends list, which is just for messaging, and that's it. Like Line. It'll be like Facebook Line.
Right, yeah.
Or everybody just switches to Line.
Well, Facebook's now just old people, isn't it?
The largest, the heaviest users of Facebook are over 40 years old. It's so while there might be more accounts owned by people under 40, the people who actually use the site are over 40.
Yeah, and the only reason the younger people use it is say, hey, I need to keep in touch with grandma. Oh, Facebook works. She can handle Facebook, so there you go.
We just use the messenger groups and occasionally make events and stuff. Yeah, for like normally friends, where it's just like, are we meeting up for drinks at so-and-so place?
Fuck normie friends.
That's pretty much it. I'll stay and drink and stare at my computer screen. Yeah, I'll do that.
I've stared into the abyss of the internet for too long. Fuck normie friends.
Keeping it 2D, eh?
My grandma's like 70-something and she's on Facebook. It's very creepy. Because I have to remind myself, it's like, oh shit, do I need to block my grandmother from being able to see this post?
Yes, you do.
What, you need another account? You need to have a normie account and a shitpost account.
So I get more shit from arguing with people's opinions than people I know who post fucking porn on Facebook for crying the fuck out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody knows what they're here for when like it's a single purpose thing. But
if I wanted to do a real culling of who's still remaining in my life, all I'd have to do is post the picture of me in my Hillary for Prison t-shirt.
Damn.
And then just be like, I love Alex Jones is like the title. And like, bam. And then I'm sure anybody else who I didn't think needed to remain in my life would just unfriend me right then.
Right. Is it one of those kind of situations?
I've lost so many people since the election just for not demonizing Trump. If I just say anything like, "Oh, he's actually for gay people and that's really cool." Boom, I lost like 10 friends immediately.
I said that to Fred, what is it? I brought her back from a nightclub at like 4 a.m. I was chatting with like her boyfriend while I waited for the taxi, and she was like, "I don't like Trump. He's not for gay people." I was like, "What? He's like the first Republican to be pro-LGBT because he'll actually name their number one problem of radical Islam." And like, her boyfriend was like, "Yeah, that's true." She was like, "Oh, okay." Like she'd had more to drink than I had. So.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
We've reached a time where apparently you can't be friends with someone unless you agree with them 100% on everything. But what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'd rather be friends with people that are going to argue with me and tell me I'm a fucking moron than that shit.
That actually made me think, to tie this back into the YouTube demonetization thing, do you not think some of the YouTubers are missing a trick with the fact that like people are getting demonetized for like single issue political videos, you know? So these are my opinions kind of thing. They are sort of non-globalist or nationalist, like libertarian right-wing kind of stuff that they reckon is getting sort of demonetized at the moment. But are people getting regularly demonetized for these debates that are coming out? You know, like Blair White and Green, Tyler Preston, and
no. The thing about the algorithm is it makes no fucking sense. It seems to be completely and totally random because if it wasn't,
a lot of it
people
has to do
figured
with
out what
people's
it's targeting.
tags. They don't.
No, there are people who deleted tags and stuff is still demonetized.
Well, that's the auto subtitles. I'm pretty sure, because this is what Dave Cullen was saying, like the YouTube heroes. The reason that the first level was doing subtitles is so that they have users who can basically put tags on your videos by the subtitles.
Oh, and then the subtitles can flag the videos based on word recognition software.
Yeah. But when there are more than one opinion on it, do you not think that would be less likely to be demonetized?
Well, here's the thing.
Or maybe they just don't go through them because they're so long.
Well, that's the thing. YouTube is never going to...
New York Times, and they have opinion pieces.
Yeah.
But they should have advertisers for those opinion pieces. Fuck that. If I can't have an opinion and have an advertiser on it, neither should they.
See, YouTube is never going to tell you the criteria for how they're demonetizing these videos, because then you would know how to work around it.
Yeah.
All I need to do is say shit like fuck Islam and get people to make a response video to that where they put a clip of me saying fuck Islam in it, and then their videos will automatically get demonetized.
I don't know if it's that severe. I don't know if it's that severe or not.
Well, think about it. If it's using subtitles that are automatically generated, it doesn't care who's speaking. It's just going to put the subtitle in, and then the subtitle's going to see the phrase fuck Islam, and then it'll be demonetized based on that phrase.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's algorithmic in that you're seeing, like, it'll weigh up how many times it says something, whether something extreme or something. Like, if you have, like, a whitelist along with it, you know, you could say one thing that would be a problem if there wasn't other mitigating factors in the video. That's what I think. Do you think some of these...
the AI wouldn't be... The AI wouldn't be that good.
You think it's just like bad word, gone, kind of thing?
That's how filters have worked all the time. Because the AI is not that good. Unless they've got a supercomputer.
Well, no, I'm not saying they have a supercomputer, but surely you'd get like a huge number of false positives on stuff that they do want advertisers to stay on, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's what I'm talking about.
If it was just like bad word kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's exactly what's happening, because it's hitting everyone.
But they're looking on. I mean, I'm not saying that candid stuff and all the stuff that Google's working with at the moment is, you know, complex, but it's got to be more than just like flagged from a single bad word. I mean, even Twitter does more than that. Like,
there may be a little bit more.
Complex than that.
Yeah. There might be a little bit more modulating factors.
It doesn't look like it's more than that. That's the problem.
It's not much more. It's not enough to fix the problems that they're going to have with trying to automate it. Like I said, you need a supercomputer with you know, deep thought Watson levels.
They're never going to be able.
Even Billy D and Jenna Marbles are being demonetized at this point. So obviously, cussing has something to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly. It's not like Jenna's talking about radical Islam.
No, it's a real purge of fire and salt method.
It seems to be working exactly as the candid thing, and the candid thing was associated with a company known as My Likes, which is associated with Google.
Yeah, well, they're mostly ex-Google, aren't they? But
ex-Google, but it's the parent company is Google. Hello.
And Google's bringing their own AI.
Just saying ex-Google to sound edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Google owns this shit, and it seems to be operating in exactly the same way.
I.e., the CIA.
I wouldn't be surprised if Candid was just the training bot, and they wanted to get people signed up so they can get it trained, so they can and then throw it out even further.
I didn't know Harmful Opinions jumped on this stream.
I wish he would.
I'd love to hear.
He keeps looking more and more right.
Impression.
Well, yeah.
I know. Instead of saying Alex Jones was right, in a few years we're going to be saying Harmful Opinions was right.
Harmful Opinions was right.
He's gone. Yeah.
But that's just my harmful opinion.
That was close. This is the thing. He's got much more.
Like the whole thing about him getting, because a part of that Candid contract was that they couldn't badmouth YouTube and Google.
But they couldn't badmouth my likes or the parent company, which is YouTube or Google, which means they can't badmouth
for
YouTube
2 years.
For 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Hell, we're almost a year into their contract.
Yeah. Apart from Undeed, who just said, "I want to be able to disparage you," and they were like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. But you notice all the people that are under that non-disparagement agreement aren't saying too much about YouTube right now.
Yep.
Funny that.
Yeah, Sean Head's pretty much just gone back to. He's mostly doing stuff on Off Head. I've noticed. I mean, she did get quite a lot of subscribers after Milo plugged to that one.
Well, her and Amazing Atheist are the two who actually violated the FCC requirements, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Like, because they didn't disclose at all. Like, I mean, people try to give Matt shit, but he said it in the video and he had it in the description. It's like, but I don't think Amazing Atheist said it at all. Like, he just...
Yeah, but people
that's where I have the big problem.
To shill everything.
Great thing to say.
I don't have a problem with people shilling or getting paid or signing a non-disclosure agreement. It's not something I would do. But if I were to do that, the 100% thing I would do is disclose that I was getting fucking paid. And if they said you can't disclose it, I'd say, well, I won't have a contract with you.
Yeah, so
because that's against the law.
Yeah, well, a lot of the gaming stuff you see is like the first 10 or 15 seconds are just like, this video is sponsored by, gaming chairs. Here's a code you can get, and
yeah.
Well, the most recent mobile game that Matt did a sponsorship video because he's one of my best friends. I know you guys don't like him, but we were talking about it, and they actually had an entire department that you submit the video to that they sign off is making sure that it's FCC compliant, because because these companies have had so much. Obviously not this one, they're learning from everybody else's mistakes, but as these marketing firms deal with more YouTubers now, they've gotten so much blowback from situations in the past, like Candid, for example. I mean, that seriously, Candid should be a case study for marketing classes right now. People should be studying that, how to fuck up horribly and what not to do. So that way people know, hey, you go when
call
your
biggest detractor God on a stream is probably a bad idea.
Yeah. Sorry, which Matt is this?
God.
Mundane Matt. He did a sponsorship for a mobile app. And it's like he sent it out to them. They made sure it was FCC compliant before it went, and then everything was all good. So it's like you got to do the review for the game, get the money for doing the sponsorship video, and everything followed the rules. And it's like, cool, no problem,
Yeah.
If Jeff Gordon wants to put Pepsi on his fucking car and ride around a track and get paid millions of dollars for it, go ahead, Jeff Gordon. I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah.
See, none of the Candid stuff would have been a big problem at all if Candid wasn't up to some foul shit behind the scenes. That's the thing that's really nobody would have even cared that you were doing a sponsored thing or you didn't. The fact that this app itself had so many problems and was shifty as hell, that's what. If it had been other YouTubers doing this and pushing this app, it would have been fine. Nobody would.
Well, yeah, it was because they went after a bunch of LGBT YouTubers and they all did videos for it too, and nobody said shit about them.
Nobody gave a shit about them. It was the people who
ethics further down the list.
You can't spend years bitching about ethics and corporate and corporate greed and going against these, trying to claim to be fighting these corporate constructs, and then push this particular app. It doesn't fit. It didn't fit. And rather than do their research, they saw dollar signs, which I can understand because a lot of these YouTubers don't make a lot of money off of what they're doing.
That was the first point as well with the demonetization thing. That was when it was starting to look bad as well. So people were like, shit, we need some money.
Yeah, we need money. And so, yeah, I get that out of desperation you jumped into this, but you still signed a contract. They signed a contract without reading it. That's what they did. They looked at a contract. They didn't give it to a lawyer because a lawyer would have told them what was going on with it. And they signed a contract because money, and now they're fucked for it. And everybody who signed that contract is fucked for it. They signed away their rights.
Yeah, it was pretty
to some degree,
stuff.
Yeah. And they did that while claiming to be a free speech advocate.
It was probably
and being involved with a certain group or movement or whatever the fuck you want to describe it as, that was about keeping people ethically responsible. And then a few of them people didn't disclose it. And those are the ones I have a problem with. Really, do what the fuck you like, sell yourself out as much as you want. But if you're going to be a hypocrite, then I have a problem.
Yeah. And anyway, it'd be different if they would just have let it go. But the circling the wagons was very, very beginning of GG-like.
Yeah.
Where it's people protecting their friends and protecting their money because they know that if they call out a particular person, they're going to lose subs and therefore cash. And it's obvious that they're protecting them for that particular reason.
Yeah, it's a little bit fucked up. Did you guys want to carry on through till past, do you think?
I want to talk about Brexit because it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, sure.
There we go. You got to go.
Britain.
Then we should talk about that
Britain
now.
has an Independence Day, bitches.
Yep. Well, in 2 years' time, if it happens.
Base barrage for the win.
Yep.
Like, the whole thing about that is they fought that so hard in tooth and nail. And my whole thing is if you don't like Britain and you don't like your country, you could still leave.
Yeah, it's not like the EU doesn't exist anymore. Move to the EU if you love it so much.
Get the hell out. It's not like,
they're not holding you captive. They didn't close the border
you're not
down.
being forced to live there and stay there. And
it's been
one of my Twitter followers who I'm acquainted with, he's a British citizen who's living in Germany, and he's all pissed off about it. And it's just like, dude, if over 2 million Muslims can move into Germany, they'll have no problem with you. Okay? It's just like, just stay in Germany.
Yeah.
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 If they can hide, so can you.
I can't afford to go, up sticks.
No, the thing is now that Britain's leaving, France isn't far behind.
We'll have to see. I think jury's still out on that until we see the result.
I think the election itself is going to tell us what's going to happen.
I think it's pretty funny that they start on St. George's Day. Which will actually be a long time.
How is Le Pen looking in France?
It's touch and go. Some people say that she's losing out to Macron. Some people say she's still got the cult of personality that will keep her in the front running. I'm not believing any of the statistics. I'm basically I'm not going to see. I'm not placing bets, and I'm not a French citizen, so I'm just going to stand back and see what happens. Really. Sorry, that's not a British citizen.
But my whole position on these sorts of things is, if the majority or the way the voting system works, however it works, whether it's majority first past the post or whatever.
Yep.
If they win a particular thing, then that's what the country should do, and everyone else they can be upset about it, but they should shut the fuck up and get on with it.
This is the thing. It's like a lot of the press here is definitely focused on Leave voters that are now regretting their vote and things like that, and
No, they aren't. That's the thing.
Well, this is the thing. The press is that, if there's a second referendum, more people would vote for Remain than did Leave the first time, and I was like, they never look at the people who did vote Remain, but now because the die has been cast, would have voted Leave on a second referendum.
I have some
initial
British
result.
people that
Because a bunch of
British
shit has
expats in
happened
Australia?
since the vote.
I have some British expats in Australia that I talk to from time to time, have dinner parties with and so forth, and
Oh yeah.
she's basically turned around and go, I'm still a British citizen. I didn't vote this time because I don't live in Britain, but if they try and reverse that shit and do another vote, leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff
over there
came
and
out.
vote to leave. Because
Like,
they said you should have one referendum and that decision should be abided by. No
Yeah.
shenanigans.
And we voted a fair few years back, actually, to keep first past the post voting.
Exactly.
It was part of the, I think it was 2010, it was one of Lib Dem's platforms to hold a vote on whether we should introduce alternative voting. Actually, no, it was a bit before 2010, if I recall. It's a bit fuzzy. I was at uni over that time, so a lot of the memories are hazy. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good arguments for and against on whether we should bring in AV, but at the same time, like first past the post won out. And this is what a lot of people are pointing out now, that people are saying now Article 50 has pointed out every bad thing that happens in Britain is going to be the fault of Brexiteers. I was like, well, okay. Did you vote
it's this
first
kind of
past the
thing where
post?
they got, for the most part, it was because there were some reasons to stay, but there were way more reasons to leave, and people wouldn't deal with that. And now that if they had not gone so hateful with the rhetoric towards people who want to Brexit wouldn't have won.
Well, I'm not so
Well,
sure.
if they'd actually given them good, solid reasons with facts and evidence to back it up instead of just screaming racist at them.
Yeah, and the thing is,
there might have been a different result.
A lot of the arguing points seem very flimsy as well. Like when you saw it before the referendum, obviously I had all the pamphlets shoved through my door and everything. That workers' rights wouldn't be protected under the EU, as if like the British government don't know how to like not turn into a tyrannical workers' dictatorship over here. Or it's like every boss in Britain, if they don't have the EU to look over them and tell them how to treat their employees right, they're just going to decide, oh, maybe whipping and paying them nothing would be a good idea. It's like, fuck off, you know?
Yeah, they want to open the mines and force children down in them. The only reason they didn't do that is because of the EU. Is that right? Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, they were saying climate change. As far as actual policy, and not just you're racist if you don't kind of thing. But
climate change is caused by white supremacy. And that's what feminists tell me.
Yeah. Well, climate crisis is a racist crisis because it happens to black people more, which was BLM UK's short-lived switching stance after they realized. Yeah, after they realized that the death in custody bullshit was horribly pointed out. Like everyone was just pointing at the false statistics when they went with the death in custody angle of BLM UK, and then all they had to fall back on was climate change, because we don't have gun violence. I mean, we have gangs here.
You know what? I think maybe it was the other way. They were really environmentalists, and they were trying to use the BLM thing to try and push their shit.
I don't know.
I would just like to point out that all this Black Lives Matter shit has gone completely and totally silent since the Trump election, since the election's been over here in the U.S. Nobody fucking brings it up.
It's been pretty quiet. Yeah, you are right. I haven't heard much.
Not in the media, not from politicians, not even from its leaders.
Didn't DeRay say he never had anything to do with it or something?
Yeah, it's vanished. It's gone.
Yeah.
If you needed any fucking further proof that they were using you for the purpose of an election, they used you niggas. They used you niggas, and now they don't care. Again, because the election is over. You are an election issue. They give a shit about you when it's election year, and now it's all gone.
You think you'll see
it again? You don't hear them talking about any of these Black Lives Matter issues at all anymore. Period.
Right. You think you'll see it again in 2018, 2020?
Yeah, you will.
All right. Maybe they'll just drop the pretense and just be the Black Panthers.
No, the Black Panthers actually did some good in the communities before the drugs.
Was it Black Liberation Army or something? BLA? I don't know. You guys have so many fucking.
Well, the original Black Panthers was a movement to arm black people. They were very pro Second Amendment. First and second.
Yes.
It was about self-protection and protecting your community.
Yeah.
And then the intersectional, like, way back to Africa and all that shit. And then the Muslim Brotherhood came in and overthrew, like, you know, they took over.
Because they were doing, in the beginning, they were doing community outreach and bettering black neighborhoods.
Right.
And then it became militant and everything went downhill.
It's funny that, isn't it? As soon as a group becomes militant, it sort of falls to shit.
And it's very, very suspect of how it went militant, and that might have been on purpose to destroy the movement in the first place. But it's that same thing where it was an election issue, and now nobody gives a shit, and you won't hear about Black Lives Matter until, honestly, you might not even hear it in the next election. You probably won't hear it until fucking 2019, when they start ramping that shit up again.
Yeah, I'm so tired of our race baiting politics. It's like it's such a distraction to just prevent poor and working class people from looking at the real, enemies.
You mean uniting together and going, "Hey, fuck you guys, you're the real problem."
Yep.
Rednecks and niggas are the same group of people. We've had this conversation.
Oh yeah, and the sooner they realize it, the better.
That's why that whole post about a Soviet Russia. That's why, like, that whole post that I posted a couple weeks back about if communism took over the United States, Jamal and Cletus would team up to put a bullet in your head. That's exactly what would fucking happen.
That's what it says. Nigger and redneck synthesis. It's never been tried before. But when it does, it's going to be a powerful force.
Oh, all right, let's. I know you guys are in different time zones. It's getting pretty late for me, so I'm going to tap out.
Yeah, no worries, man.
All right, man.
Enjoy the rest of the stream. Speak to you guys around.
Catch you later. Yeah, it's the race baiting shit needs to stop, because
that's why
not each other's enemy.
That's
White
why
people
Brexit
and black
won.
people aren't enemies. They don't need to be enemies.
If they didn't bring the race baiting into Brexit, Remain probably would have won. But because they put that as an issue before everything else, especially with the fact that Britain gives still so much to the EU and gets almost nothing in return, but being told what to do by unelected fucking assholes who have corporate interests.
Yep. That'd piss you off.
Which is what it was. It was a group that had no accountability. There was no way, until there's a way to oust EU officials that aren't doing
by a vote.
Yeah, by a vote. Then it's just.
But see, the thing is, they go, "Oh, but they were elected." I'm like, yeah. The guy that came from Germany was elected by Germans. The guy who came from the UK was elected by people in the UK. If the guy in the UK is doing something the Germans don't like, what recourse do the Germans have?
Yeah.
None. That's the fucking problem. Right there. And that's the thing that they don't...
And honestly, I do think...
Oh, they are elected. Didn't realize. Or they did realize. It didn't happen.
If she gets elected in France, I have no doubt that there's going to be France exiting next. If not Italy. Italy and France are going to be racing to do this because Italy wants out.
Yeah, well, you got to think most of the countries that aren't broke, like let's say Greece, want out because they're sick of paying for countries that are broke, like Greece.
Exactly, which was the entire I get wanting to pull countries up so they're doing as well as you in the EU, but that's not what happens.
Well, the whole point of it was meant to be an economic thing, not an entire government thing.
No, they
it wasn't
wanted
supposed
to
to be a
create the
union like the
United
United
States of
States of
Europe.
America.
Right. They wanted the United States of Europe, and it won't ever
And
work
none
because you have
of the countries signed up for that. They signed up for as an economic union, not as a political union. And as soon as they got the economic union, the people up there said, "Oh, why don't we make this a political union?"
Yeah.
Sargon was saying that it was called ridiculous. Well, they're trying to make an EU army, and they said, "Oh, that's not going to happen. That's stupid. How would that even work?" And that came out.
That came out after the vote. That's the thing, is the majority of the reasons people voted leave in the first place
Shit like that.
Were called, conspiracy theorists, and then they all came out after the election. Theory. Like, people know.
Well, the other thing is, the pound is gonna tank if we leave the EU. If we vote for Brexit, and it's gone up. And their unemployment has gone down. The exact opposite of things they said would happen have happened. So, if the opposite things that you said are going to happen, at some point admit that maybe you were wrong.
People do that? No. I think at this point, the other countries are going to be looking at Britain to see how Britain
know how Britain's going to go, because Australia did the same thing in 1901.
Yeah,
when we became our own country that separated from the Commonwealth of Britain. And that was when Britain was at its height, and they had colonies all over. They had South Africa and India, and Australia went, "Yeah, we're going to do it by ourselves." Bye. And I looked up the papers from 1901. All the exact same bullshit arguments that have happened for Brexit were happening in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same. And is Australia broke and fucked up now?
Nope.
Not yet. Not.
Well, I mean, it's fucked up in the sense that you can't even play certain video games there because, my God.
Yeah, but that didn't
happen. And then there's the thing where even the cute and cuddly animals will kill you.
Yeah, despite all that, we're still not broke. Like, economically, which is 90% of the argument, but we're fine. And we've got a tiny population compared to all these other countries.
Well, I said to somebody the other day, I was like, look, the United States had to have a civil war to establish itself as a federalist country. And it's like, that's not what Europe signed up for. And they, Hitler tried that. And you guys said no. So what's it going to be?
It's like, you can't.
You had your chance in the 1940s. You could have been a united Europe. He was totally down for it. He was ready to just take over all of you.
I would not compare Markel to Hitler in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that might be a little bit Godwin, but I would compare what the EU was doing is similar to USSR.
Mainly because Hitler was a better strategist, but No,
I compare it more to like the USSR. Because a lot of these European countries lived in the USSR and they know what this shit happens. Like, that's why Poland is like, immigrants? No, we're not taking any immigrants. You Germany, you can have them. We don't want them. Why? Because Poland been through this shit before. Slovakia has been through this shit before. They know what's going to happen and they don't want it. And you look at those countries compared to the UK and Germany, you got police walking around the streets, patrolling the streets with massive machine guns. And in those other countries, they got people sitting in cafes sipping coffee. What is the difference? Mass immigration. Let's be honest.
I think the problem with the mass immigration is the naivete that they had that these people would want to.
That these people were like them.
Yeah.
No, they're just misunderstood regular people. No, they're not. I mean, some of them might be, but there is a certain element that's not insignificant that are not like you, and they want you to die.
Because it's not our fault that they didn't watch Star Trek as kids. They don't know the Prime Directive.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's really what it boils down to. They just don't. They don't understand it. Like, and I'm talking about the SJWs who want this shit. Like, they just don't get it. They don't understand. Like the whole. Like, that's how you know they're hipsters, and they're not really into. they're not into comics and science fiction at all, because then they would have learned these moral lessons growing up, and that there are cultural differences that exist in different societies, and when these cultures clash, bad things happen. And you know, and it's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's repeated in our literature over and over and over again because we've learned from these lessons. But you know, these kids weren't taught anything in school, and they didn't actually read books, and they aren't nerds, and they're not
I
actually
think
into
that's
science fiction, so
kind
they
of a
didn't learn these
big.
lessons.
I
You're
think
just gonna,
that's a big generalization, honestly.
well, of course, it's a
Um,
generalization. We're
No,
aware
but I
of that.
mean, if you actually learned those lessons as a child growing up, understanding that, look, there are people out there who are different than you and that are not going to agree with you, and that's okay, but sometimes they might want to kill you because they don't agree with you.
Or
So you
I
sometimes they're
think
probably
better off
shouldn't
none
living
of
in
that.
fall.
separate
You can
societies.
study all the history in the world and still be doomed to repeat it if you have the ego to not believe that it could happen to you.
Yeah, that
And
is true.
that's the problem. A lot of these people, they do know their history. They just will interpret history the way they want to.
Well, you know, real communism has never been tried because
Yeah, real
communism is
communism has never been tried. That's that
communism
exact
is
thing.
the absence of a state, and you know that's why Russia was never really communist, because Russia was a state. Even though I could very simply argue that it was a communism of states, not individuals. Therefore, it was communist. That's a very simple argument to make. But you know, real communism's never been tried.
But yeah, but that's the thing.
Because I hear what,
People want to pretend like they're
oh,
better
all
than the
these
people that came
benefits,
before them.
there'd be no unemployment, and everyone would have the things they need because each person according to their needs.
So I
And
can't possibly make the same mistakes. I'm better.
all we have to do is get rid of patriarchy, and
They
communism works.
no
Everything will be fine this
like
time.
they choose to ignore the history. They choose to ignore Sharia law. They choose to ignore because it doesn't happen to them.
No,
Right.
no.
Yeah. No, it's really
It's
it's very
willful ignorance.
childish. It's very
To
childish.
Well, it's willful,
The stove
willful
won't
ignorance.
burn me. Not when I
No, the
touch it.
Baton
I'm
Rouge.
special.
Yeah.
No, these two illegals, they raped a girl in a bathroom. Two illegals that had been deported before, but came back. And it was a sanctuary city, and they weren't going to boot them back because, oh, the poor illegals. And they were laughing about what they did to this girl because they made the assumption that, oh, well, it can't happen. And that's the thing. People were looking at that and saying to themselves, well, these horrible things, they can happen to me, so now I give a shit. And that's the problem with the majority of this denial that mass immigration from Islamic countries can possibly go wrong, because it hasn't like the fucked up shit hasn't happened to them yet.
Look.
Daughter that's dragged
like
behind
this.
a building.
It's like this. You don't have to stand on the bread line if there's no bread. See, smart. Right? There you go. They've got it all worked out. No one has to stand on bread lines. We just won't have bread. Communism works. There you go.
The building to get gang raped for Tehran tradition, as it is with Islamic countries, to do to the infidels, then you give a shit. But as long as it's somebody else's daughter, you can fucking pretend like you.
Oh, that's an isolated incident, though. I don't have to worry about
it's
that.
Not gay. It's not gay as long as you're raping a little boy and he's not Islamic. Then it's totally not gay.
Then it's totally not gay.
It's totally not gay. It's totally allowed. Allah would be proud. Muhammad smiles upon you. Peace be upon him. But if he was 18 and he consented to it and he liked it, well, I'm just going to kill both of you. Faggots. Totally a great, wonderful, truly blessed religion. Oh, yeah, I'm working on this theory that if it wasn't for the Book of Romans, Western civilization as we know it wouldn't exist. I think that
That's a pretty big stretch there.
I don't think it is, though. I think the fact that the Bible actually talks about honoring Caesar, and that there's a difference between man's law and God's law, and that as a citizen you should respect man's law. I think that creation of the separation of church and state, the fact that it even exists in the Bible, paved the way for modern Western civilization. It's like, because Islamicists,
and then the Crusades happened.
the Crusades in large were a response to the Islamic takeover of European territories. So that was more military, than religion, as far as the Christians were concerned. I mean, yes, I'm sure you had to sell it to the people. I mean, let's be real. The Bush administration already wanted to go back into Iraq, so they needed something like 9/11 to get people to, oh, we're going to go into Afghanistan. What does that have to do with Saudi Arabia? Fuck it, and then we'll go into Iraq anyways on a lie. So it's like, I'm sure religion, motivated the masses to go along with what they wanted to, what the leaders wanted to do anyways. But I'm saying, for the long-term survival of Western civilization, you had to get to the point where you could have the Protestant Reformation, and you could have the establishment of separation of church and state, and Christians be okay with it. By saying, we're fine with having man's law and God's law.
That would work if it hadn't happened in other countries and other civilizations beforehand. The concept of a separation of church and state goes back way further than Christianity.
No, but it may have helped to sell it to Christians so they wouldn't kick up a fucking fit. I see where she's going. I mean, I'm not saying that I could draw a direct line, but I could definitely see there might be some influence that certainly didn't hurt. It's my, harmful opinion.
Really?
I had to say it. Go on.
I think it's more of the concept of it always existed because religions die.
I reckon it's always existed to some extent, because if you had like a city and had a whole bunch of Jews in it and a whole bunch of Christians in it and a whole bunch of Islam in it, the people running it, if they were Christian, the other guys are going to go, hey, how about we have some laws that aren't based on your religion? No matter who was in charge, the other ones would have been. That's where I think that concept really took off. But the fact that there is some of that in the Bible, it probably doesn't hurt matters as far as Christians go. Like it means the Christians would be more accepting of going, you know what, you guys, you're right. Maybe we should have some laws that aren't, purely based on the teachings that we know are correct. From their perspective,
it's an older all I'm arguing is that it's a way older concept than Christianity, and there are a couple of Western civilizations that evolved without Christianity that have separation of church and state.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is there's more data.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting theory, though. Like I said, I'm not convinced that there's 100% you can draw that line, but I'm just saying that it certainly didn't hurt. I've never heard that one before, but hey, I like it. It's something to ponder.
Well, I mean, when you look at, early American civilization, it's like you had the Quakers and, everything that was set up in Salem, Massachusetts, and they were burning fucking witches. And then, at some point, you finally had the Enlightenment period come over, and, the Founding Fathers and all this, that had a very Christian, upbringing and a sense of morality, but at the same time, they were just like, yeah, no, we need to establish, a set of laws
Speaking of that, beforehand, the Native Americans in the area actually had congressional meetings and had there were separate faiths within the Native American community that were ignored, and had their own laws between each other that they had. I think more of a separation of religion caused this law system to occur, and not the religions themselves.
It's interesting. Yeah. Either way, that's all I can say because I don't know enough about the specifics of American history. I just know a very basic foreigner version of it.
Because even when you look at Greek forms back in the day and challenging the idea of God altogether, and kind of where that stemmed from in terms of Greece and the Roman Empire at the time, I'd say that's more of
Well, it's
kind
definitely,
of
that's what I mean. It's
guideline
been a
for
part of Western
reciprocity.
tradition, but unlike Islam, which basically there is no law higher than God's. Period. Like you're
Oh, that's
dealing,
because they're fundamentalists.
right? You're dealing with a subset of people that literally they don't give a shit about your rules because to them your rules are obsolete. There is only Allah, and there's no wiggle room in their religion at all.
every religion has had that period where they had fundamentalists that thought that way, and in every period of history, those people get smashed in the mouth eventually. That's the problem that we're at. Is it happened for Christianity? It even happened for Buddhism. It's happened for every single major religion on the planet except for Islam, where the rest of the world said, enough, we're not going to put up with this. They haven't effaced it's kind of like
they haven't had their Enlightenment period.
Yes, they haven't. They're still in their Dark Ages period.
But they have modern technology. How scary is
ideology? Ideology is a scary thing when you try and compare it to technology. And oftentimes they try and ignore. That's why they try and put such a hold and such a stranglehold over technology in their countries, because if you're forced to do research and think outside of what they consider the limitations of what you should be thinking outside of, then it all falls apart. Which is why you have atheists sneaking out of countries like Saudi Arabia and Pakistan and whatnot, because they realize the truth. Science leaks in eventually. That's what this whole quote unquote holy war is about. It's not Islam versus every other religion. It's Islam versus science, enlightenment. Every religion faces it, and every religion to some degree comes to terms with it eventually. Islam is the only one that hasn't as a whole.
Yeah.
Time to shit or get off the pot. I look at it.
No, it's hard to let go of delusions you were raised with.
Well, yeah, considering my father was a minister, I know all about that.
I think for the most part, it's like any other forced identity. When it becomes a part of who you are, it's a lot harder to let go of and criticize and critique. That's why you see moderate Muslims get shouted down. Because there are Muslims that want to reform the religion, that want to move forward, that want to evolve and be a citizen of the world. And the ones that speak out are get bounties put on their heads, or
get labeled anti-Islamic by the SPLC,
or they just leave the religion completely because they realize there's no home for me in this faith anymore.
Coming soon to a Canadian province near you, you can go to jail for not being Islamic.
This whole podcast
fundamentalist.
banned in Canada.
Give it time. Give it time.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Sophie, aren't you in Canada?
No, I'm in the States. But thank God. Good no, fucking Canadian. I never even been.
Well, that's how they've made inroads, and I think that was a wake-up call to a lot of Canadians that they are trying to push Islam on Canada, and they are trying to push their blasphemy laws.
I tried
Because they're trying to
Canada's
push it, they're
Wikipedia to
succeeding.
be. I wanted to write on Canada's Wikipedia page national religion Islam, but unfortunately it wouldn't let me. But it would be accurate now. I mean, it
Well,
is
that's what
a
I was going to
state.
say. They're not. Then it's not that they're pushing that, because you expect religion to push their religious
They
thing.
are. That's how it slowly. That is how
It's that
Islam
they're
has spread.
succeeding. It's that they're succeeding that is the thing that is scary.
I mean, Canada is now officially
Yeah.
the closest Western country to a theocracy that we have. Like
But you
this,
can't
that's how you
criticize
open.
Islam.
You've opened the gates to a national established religion, and it's like, while people, Republicans and certain conservatives may say, oh, we live in a Christian nation, but it's not our established religion. And it's like, but Canada just took a giant fucking step towards establishing Islam as their national religion, and that's just insane to
If
me.
Canadians push back now, it's not going to be an issue. But if they
Let's
don't,
hope they
then it's
do.
going to happen. The same thing is going to happen to Canada with every other country that used to have other religions in it.
See, my opinion is there should be no national religion. Government should be secular, so people are free to practice or not practice whatever religion they want.
And it's because when you talk about Islam and the conquering aspect of its history, and you bring up stuff like, Pakistan used to be Buddhist. And now you have people openly calling for the hanging of an atheist for insulting Islam because it's the law.
Well, in parts of India and, used to be all Hindu, and now they've got huge swaths of Islam, and even into China. And, the Chinese government's finally just been like, no, you can't have this here.
Yeah, well, that's because they were causing trouble. Because
well, of course they're causing trouble. That's what
if
they
anything,
do.
China will not put up with people speaking against the state, and that's what Islam does when it goes in infest countries.
Yep.
China isn't going to put up with that shit at all.
The government of China is extremely authoritarian. They make Germany and Australia's authoritarians look like little kids. Like, Germany and Australia are like, how do you like our censorship? And then China's like, you like little baby, hold my beer. And then they go and crush the infidels.
Which is why you don't hear about Islamic attacks in China, because they don't happen. They don't happen.
Well, I would be very interested to see, this is one of my more crazy theories, is that if, say, the United States were to engage in a trade war with China, because China has purchased so much of the Middle East, I think that it would ultimately devolve into China, basically conquering the entire Middle East, at which point they would quash Islam altogether. So, who knows? Maybe a trade war with China might actually be the greatest thing for the history of our planet.
Are you calling for Genghis Khan Part 2?
Essentially, it's like, just let the Chinese do their thing, because they'll outbreed the Muslims. It's like, you want to get into the people who talk about white genocide. Well, no, the Chinese would just be like, oh, we've been wanting to get rid of our one-child policy. We will be happy to take over your lands and outbreed you 3-1. It's like, so you want to talk about that particular strategy? The Chinese have that mastered. So, I mean, I do. I think it would be very interesting if that were to happen, because I think that would actually prevent World War III altogether, and then you would actually be left with more of, I think, because it's like, if the planet is ever going to lead to that planetary type government, well, we would actually have to have a four nation state hegemony first, which would be like the United States and South America essentially become one nation, which, I mean, that's kind of what NAFTA was headed towards anyways. But then it's like you would have,
for China,
you have us,
Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, others, Christianity 3 to 4%, Islam 1.5%.
Yeah.
You know what I think is funny about the whole thing is if you look at Taoism and Buddhism, Buddhists are friendly and get along with everybody. except
And
for
they don't
Islam.
run like a religion.
They
And they
do
don't run
not
like a
fuck
religion.
with Islam.
Not really. Not like a
Like-
traditional religion. It's all about the enlightenment and the reduction of suffering and that sort of.
Buddhism. They will hang out with Christians. They will hang out with Hindus. They will hang out and mess with every other religion and be friendly to them. Not fuck with Islam.
Well, that's
What does
probably
that tell you?
because it's probably because they don't want to fuck with Islam, not because they don't, because Islam wants to fuck with them. More to the point.
Right. They're the
Because
most
everyone else is like,
peaceful
yeah, okay.
religion on the planet right now.
Well, Tokyo, one of the largest cities in the world, and they've had 0 Islamic terrorist attacks. And I'm like trying to put together this meme of Japan where I'm just like, they should have a their immigration policy should be a strict otaku policy. If you can't name at least 5 animes, we're not letting you into our country.
That's a very low bar.
I was going to say, I can name 5 animes.
That's a very low bar.
Fine, 10.
Hold on. No, I have to take one off because Ghost in the Shell no longer counts.
No, you have to be able to recite an entire JoJo episode.
Oh, come
word
on.
for word.
Come on.
With poses.
Come on. No. No. I don't mean to get
No,
cancer.
Japan. See, that's the thing. The countries that have been really strict about their immigration have been doing a lot better because they could control who comes and goes.
Oh, they're going to set an example for the entire Western world, and people don't even realize it yet. Because what they're doing right now is they're not doing what Germany did to try to offset their birth rates. They've embraced technology to the max, and they're just saying, no, we're just having less kids, and we'll deal with it. Yes, our population is aging. We're managing. Stay out of our fucking business. And eventually, the equation will balance itself, and they know it. And then they will have a huge economic boom because they will be at equilibrium.
They know that you can't continue growing your population forever. There is a breaking point.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to deal with the economic fallout until the equilibrium happens. And
Asians are good at math.
Oh, I know. Goddamn that's it. We've just became racist. We've stereotyped someone. God damn it.
I'm not touching any of this with a 10-foot pole. You two are on your own on this one.
But economics is an equation, and they've run the numbers, and it's like all it's going to take is the fall back into equilibrium. And how amazing is that going to be for their economy when they reach a point where they will be at a replenishment rate, where it's just like, every citizen is breeding at the replenishment rate, and the economy is completely stabilized. Then every single good and service they provide, they'll just be able to go, yeah, we have X amount of people, we need X amount of goods, and boom, 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 boom. And as markets change and new technologies develop, they just continue to shift with the market. And then as far as the whole thing with their stress and their work week and things like that, well, as technology continues to improve and the workload required by their people is diminished, that will continue to get better over time. So, and lowered and lowered and lowered. So the problems that Japan is facing now, this is like literally as bad as it's going to get for them, as long as they stay true on their current immigration policy.
They still have an immigration problem in terms of Chinese sneaking into the country.
Well,
that's the
yes,
problem
they're ready to go to war with China if they don't cut that shit, like a lot of China's shit out. I mean, and it's not just
China's
Japan.
China's trying to Mexico Japan.
Well, and South Korea and everyone else in the region, and they're all sick of it. That's what I'm saying. Unleash China on the Middle East. They have the largest freestanding army in the world, and they're right there.
Well, you gotta understand. To China, if it's in Asia, it's China. Hey,
ask him jump in at the end of the stream in the last 10 minutes.
Hey, ask the Chinese government. Taiwan, it's China. Japan, it's really China. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Oh God, it would be so glorious. They could march the largest freestanding army in the world into the Middle East and just say, "Your oil is ours. You do what we say."
Really?
We live here now.
The accent.
Do you have problem with my accent? That's racist. I am trans Asian. You will accept my racial identity.
You know, Rachel Dolezal's actually running with that shit.
Oh god, didn't she write a book like My Black
Yes.
Life or something?
Yeah, she's going. We need to accept people that race is more than skin color.
She
She
would
said that.
No. If you actually look at her picture, she could have gotten away with trans Klingon.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh god.
She's
no,
like
I'm
3 or
honestly
4
I'm
forehead
surprised she
implants
hasn't
away
been
from
taken
Klingon.
out. Like, I mean, seriously, like, I am very, very impressed no one has put a cap in her ass. Like, I'm not calling for it. I'm just
What?
saying I am surprised that no one has taken her out. It just seems so goddamn dehumanizing for someone to do that to an entire group of people. Like, it's just...
Yeah, but black people like making fun of her.
Yeah.
She was invited on talk shows just so she could be the butt of jokes.
Oh,
That's you've left out the comedy value out of that equation.
I guess. I mean, she's like a mad cow that needs put out to pasture. Like,
no, she is nothing. She's complaining about how broke she is and she has no money. She lost her job. She lost everything. What more do you want from her? It's funny to watch her suffer.
I guess.
For most black people, she's
on the end of a rope and she's twisting around trying to hold onto it, and that's hilarious.
Yes,
Okay.
she's Vanilla Ice.
There you go. There's your analogy.
Rachel Dolezal is going to be the joke that black people make in 20 years when somebody's trying to pretend to be black that's white. Like, she's that. She's the ultimate
Malcolm
winner.
X.
Yeah, her and Sean King are at that level. Sean King hasn't lost everything yet, so he's not funny yet, but that's coming.
Oh God, yeah, dude.
Well,
it's just a nightmare. We
what,
used to
Tim,
institutionalize people like that for their own safety.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I've often said that, you know, there's not enough spent on mental health, and that's why we have a lot of this shit. Because a lot of these people should have been into a proper psychologist and just been smacked on the forehead and gone, no, that is the wrong way of thinking. Use your brain.
I think, unfortunately, what happened in this country, at least in the United States, I don't know how things played out in Europe, but the psychiatric, that entire pet profession, they shot themselves in the foot by doing things that were just medically unethical and, in a way, just barbaric and dehumanizing, and just the type of experiments they ran. It's like they just treated these people like human guinea pigs, and it wasn't like they, put them, like it wasn't like a nursing home, or it's like you just kind of go to isolate these people from the rest of the healthy people, but like, put them in a nice place. No, they basically put them in prison wards and then pumped them full of all these experimental drugs and electric shock therapy and surgeries and all this different shit. It was just like, I mean, it was really like, when X-Men's writing about like the Weapon X program and shit like that. I mean, that is just more of a fantasy like version of what they were doing to these psych patients, and it's just like, it really, in some ways you could say, well, I mean, it created the entire pharmaceutical industry that we have now, and it's like, well, what good is that doing?
Well, in Europe, we sent them to Sweden.
That's one way of dealing with it. So I think that, so now people are, the stigmatization around, even like rehab centers and stuff like that, where people are less inclined to utilize the services for family or friends because, they're concerned that they're going to be abused. And that does that did such a huge disservice that it's like there will have to come a time period where people just go, you know, it's not the 1950s anymore, and we actually need to embrace proper mental health care and whatnot, especially for our vets. Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't think we've got any time for any more crazy topics, so I'm gonna finish up the stream now. Unless someone's got something else I need to say.
Smoke weed every day? No.
What was the topic today?
We rambled like we usually do, but it was about Twitter and censorship and that sort of thing.
Turn off that pesky app
the
block.
eggs. we just mundane mattered the stream. All right, I'm stopping the broadcast. Good night, everybody.